and 7 Spanish angels took another angel home.
Hey, I'm Willie Nelson, and you're watching HempRock TV.
We don't run, and we don't compromise, we don't quit, we never do.
Howdy, ladies and gentlemen. I am Master Sergeant Tony Vance, the voice of Freedom's Voice. Got Grandpa's World War I veteran hat on. Got my Freedom Isn't Free coffee cup. Let's talk about Cannabis Heroes. Starting with Mary Dreyer. She was a nurse in the 60s and ended up in Jamaica studying the Rastafarian people who smoke cannabis all the time and its effects on pregnancy, women, and children. At that time, what they did was when a child was newborn, they would give it a very weak cannabis tea, and they thought that the munchies, you get the munchies when you smoke or use marijuana. The munchies is what made the baby suckle. Without it, the baby wouldn't suckle. Now, that was a huge finding, and she's followed those children for 5 years, and it turns out, in general, the kids whose parents did cannabis during their pregnancy and such, those kids were sharper on the ball, had better outcomes in the testings and all that kind of stuff. They seem to be doing better than the children whose parents didn't smoke marijuana. Come to find out years later, the real result was the fact that if there are no cannabinoids in the breast milk, the baby will not suckle. It wasn't the cannabis afterwards making him suckle. It's the cannabinoids in the milk itself. Now, another researcher found that out later. Well, you might say to yourself, well, marijuana's been illegal for 80 years. How does a woman in the middle of Kansas who doesn't use marijuana get those things in her system? Well, it's because she has a cannabinoid system, runs entirely through her body, has a large effect on diet, your immune system, fighting off illnesses, et cetera, et cetera. And because you have that system actually produces the exact same cannabinoids that grow in the marijuana plant. The ones that people are so worried about or excited about, depending on your bent. But we have found that the cannabinoids that are in breast milk are the reasons the baby suckle. Without it, the baby won't suckle. Now, there's been a lot of studies done regarding pregnancy and women and marijuana and all that. And it's really hard to tell the good ones from the bad ones. I mean, a lot of the bad ones will say maybe or might or could or very wavery, wobbly kind of, well, yeah, but maybe it could be bad for you or maybe it couldn't. And then the government takes it and goes, see, marijuana is bad for you. Now, they studied 1,000 women in Rotterdam, Holland, and they found decreased fetal growth and some slight mental problems. However, and I'm going to read this to you because it's a little complicated. The principal investigator of that study said that the researchers do not believe that cannabis, or that the researchers do not believe that those outcomes are a result of the cannabis use. and they were more likely to be caused by environmental things than the cannabis itself. And I think they said, let's see, they see the same results in mothers who smoked cannabis before they got pregnant, but did not smoke during pregnancy. And they saw the same results. So you can't say the cannabis causes it happens when a cannabis ain't there. And all of these studies are only designed to show harm. They're not designed to show good. In 80 years, the government's had a real hard time showing anything good or anything bad about marijuana. Their research keeps getting cut off because it shows good instead of bad. Simple as that. And researchers like Mary, who did their work early enough that we have a good idea of what's going on. And cannabis is not harmful. Not in any degree harmful enough for any kind of prohibition or serious regulation or any of that. On top of which, it's good for you. But we need to tip our hat to these folks like Mary, folks who were on the government payroll, supported the government's view on marijuana until research showed them that it was false. And they had the courage to stand up and say it was false, period. Y'all need to think of that when you think about cannabis and how to use it and what its effects are. Find the reliable studies. Check out the Israelis. They have been investigating marijuana for decades. And the government isn't hiding their research. And they should find out basically the same thing we would. So check out theirs. But don't check out America's. Because America's, as I said, is only designed to show something bad and not designed to show anything good. So if anything good pops up, they'll cut the legs right out from under the financing. So be careful where you get your research. Make sure it's reliable. And tip a nod to these folks who go out of their way to get the truth to us, as opposed to those who wish to keep us in the dark. That's it for this time. See you next time. As far as cancer goes, scan coming up Monday. I'll let you know next show I do. Y'all take care. See you next time.
Hi, I'm Willie Nelson, and the Willie Nelson Teapot Party and I endorse Veterans for Medical Cannabis Access.
Just roll me up and smoke